This conference will now be recorded.
So in Azure, in
good morning to all of you again, right? So these are the certifications of the AWS. Okay, so once you just um, uh, trained of the particular AWS, and then you can just join it for go for the certification at the same time, because it is very valuable in the market, and then you will get a job easily.
okay,
And its validity is 2 years. I have just taken in 2017, and it is 2019, and then once I going for the period for the professional AWS certification, right? It is charged me half of the price.
okay,
Okay, and it is $150, and if you're going for the professional, it is charge you $300, and you
okay,
can take certification anytime, whatever as per your career path. The second thing is we are just talking about the Azure certification as well. So this is the Azure certifications, right? So in the Azure we have different we can say exams are available 70, 533, 534, 535, and this is the particular for 533, and it is for the architecture of the Azure, right?
so there is some validity in Azure, or it is a lifetime certification?
Microsoft certification.
Yes.
Yeah, there is some validity. I will have to check with the Microsoft. I think it will be 3 years. So I have to just recheck again, as I have checked in the Microsoft's website. It was, I think so, 3 years, but I am not damn sure that it is 3 years. So we have to just take a look. What, because the Microsoft is made changes again and again, different type of examinations, right? So we have to just take a look on the Microsoft website of what is the validity time of the certifications. But most probably, I think it is 3 years.
Okay.
Okay, so the certification number is mentioned over there, and the date of achievement is over there, so that you can easily find out what is all about. And this transparent, um, slip is also provided to you, so everything is mentioned over there. So you have to go to the examination center as a Pearson, and then you have to appear the examination, and then you will get a certified of the particular any courses of certifications, right?
So
So, yesterday we have just a study about the particular, we can say that the architecture part of the AWS, right? Wait a second. So today we are just going to start some demonstrations of the we can say AWS VPC, okay, and then we will move further again. So if you have seen that I have show you some Excel sheet before as well. Look at this screen. Okay, so if somebody asks you that what is the pricing of my AWS VPC, or sorry, for EC2 instances or S3 bucket or Glacier, then how would you going to calculate it? So this is the web link I have provided to you. So simply you have just to go for it and just click on the browser, and then you can just find out. Second.
Mahesh, can you please send the Excel sheet? We
Yes,
have
yes,
only
definitely.
got that recording.
Yes, definitely. I will share with you. No problem.
Thanks.
So this is the things you will get it. Wait a second. So this is the calculator of your Amazon, what monthly billing, or you can just find out the pricing of any server. So you can find out the whatever the features of the AWS. Is there any pricing is there? You can just find it out here on the simply monthly calculator. So it is very easy to find out the pricing. I think the internet is little slow, that is why it is taking little time. So no problem with this. Just wait. So we have just to talk to you that what you have learned from the yesterday classes. Do you have some idea about if you're going to go for the AWS, then what kind of architecture kind of steps and what you going to check in the architectural part? Any idea on this?
The cost involved in the architecture, if basically for implementing such things, we should compare the things with the other, like Azure, that what is
Yes.
the suitable for this organization, and why we choose such things to compare the other options.
Yes, you're right. Yes, yes, perfect. So I would like to show you that one of the slide I have just created for you so that you can easily understand the architecture part and also what are the cost-effective solutions you can provide to any company and all sort of things. So simply you just find have some 5 to 6 things available. So you just take a look at the six things. Once you're going for the cloud implementations, the best architectures you will find out, the cost-saving solutions and the best pricing solutions at the same time. That is why the AWS is number one in the market because it is, providing all sort of solution at the same time. Okay, so some of the pillars of this particular AWS. So just take a look that it will show you some security concerns about any cloud once you are choose any cloud. That's a second thing is reliability. How much reliable we can go for Azure, Nutanix, IBM, software, Google Cloud, or any other cloud. Then the performance efficiency. What kind of performance is all about? How efficient our resources will work. And the fourth thing is the cost optimizations, how much cost we will be include and what is the cost we have to paid after the 1 month or later and what is the pay as you go kind of stuff and all sort of things and the operational excellence. So we have got some little idea about the yesterday class, so I have just moving further on this small things. So in the security pillars, we can say that into this AWS is the IAM, identity and access management is available, detective controls is available, infrastructure protection is available, data protection is available, and incident response is available. Because in the IAM, we can say that it is supported all the infrastructure like Kerberos in Active Directory, SSO single sign on applications, right? And it is also directive control, so we can go for it, and we have provided specific permissions to the database person that what kind of commands he can use to access the MongoDB or whatever the database you can create. And infrastructure protection it is providing, data protection is also providing, and incident response, because incident response plan is very important for any company. If you have created your company as incident response plans, at the same time you can just uh, any incident has been happened, so what your reaction at the same times you have to go for it. So this is the two pillars of the data centers which we have talked yesterday. We can say that first one is your disaster recovery plan you have to create, and second thing is your business continuity plan. Okay, so disaster is happen in cloud at any time, as in the Azure, in the AWS, or different clouds, we can say that. So what is your what disaster recovery plan? So you have to take a backup policy kind of stuff. So we will talk later on in this. So this is the security kind of stuff. So any concern about the security, you can just find what is the security, how can we secure our applications on the cloud, and how much controls do you have in the security, and how can you access the security, and what kind of permissions granted you can go for it. Is this your information secure or not secure? It is confidential. Is there integrity is happened or not in your informations, and is there availability at the same time, the globalized availability of your data. So this is security concerns we are just talking about in the AWS. So implement security at all the layers, okay, and enable traceability, apply principles of least privilege, and focus on securing your systems and automate. You can just automate your security in this particular AWS. So these are some design principles of the security. How do you design your security? Because the matter of fact that once you're going for any audit in your company, okay, and they will ask you that what kind of permissions you have provided to a different number of users. So how much how can you design your policy of a security? So it's also it's very important prospects, we can say that. So we can go for the another thing is reliability pillar. So recover from the issues and failures, apply best practices in foundations, change management, failure management, and anticipate, respond, and prevent failures. So we can say that how is your AWS is or different cloud is reliable. So you can just automate the things. You can recover is there any disaster has been happened to your EC2 instance or different database service or any storage. So is the capability of the source to recover from the issues. So that's what we have to just create in the environment or create in the design environment of your architecture of your AWS. Okay. So and the change management is also important. How do you make a change into the AWS, and what kind of what effect, what if you have changed some coding into the your AWS environment, and what is the what the different things happen. Anticipate, respond, and prevent failures. So also I was concerned about the AWS. Reliability pillar is the second thing is design principles. So test recovery procedures, automatically recover and scale horizontally, stop guessing capacity, manage change in automations. Because we can say that if you the guys are not able to what work not idea about the AWS, they are just guessing the capacity. Like we have what we have to implement a site. Uh, okay, and some guys are telling us that we have enough of 3 servers. Somebody says we have required 5 servers, we have required some 3 servers. So stop guessing the capacity of the in the AWS, right? We have specific what application server, web server, and database server. How it is fault tolerance is coming into the picture. How can scalability we can set it into this? What kind of what in the load balancing, what kind of networking load balancer you have implement some application level load balancer into this, or classic load balancer you can implement. So that is the main design principles. How do you deal with this kind all sort of things? Because you have got lots of features into the AWS, but which one you have to adopt, it is also main important part. And how you design is part. Because if you not design your AWS perfectly, then you have to get some problems in the future as well, because there is the resources, everything is come running at the same time. But if you make any changes, there is a downtime is coming, and any coding is changed, it is impact on the other as well same time. So your what design part is also very important, and that is why the architecture part, the 3-tier architecture, 2-tier architecture, single disk implementation, or the cross disk implementations, this is the thing, this is the idea you have to think as a system architect of the AWS. Okay, we have to go for some different ones. So performance efficiency is also an important part. So whatever the things you have to implement in the AWS, right? So is it how it is performance efficient? So select customizable solutions, review to continuously innovate, monitor AWS services, and consider the trade-offs. So you can simply say that if you are working on the AWS and some of your resources or some of your services, some of you have created some IEM thing type of stuffs, and some you have created some S3 kind of bucket and Glacier, and you're getting the bills, and you don't know how to deal with the same time, and how do you control the same times, and then you have to going to the support team of the AWS, and they will take little time. Then at the same time your billing is what giving us lots of amount in your um, bucket. So this is the things you have to take care of it, and the we can say that the monitor AWS services at the same point of time. It will send you the message at your in your mobile, and it is also sending you the email of your registered email address. So that's the requirement of the performance efficiency, and you can just how to control. It is also an important task. We can say that. Okay, performance efficiency pillar design principles. So how do you design your performance efficiency? So chromosomes, advanced technologies, go global in minutes, use a serverless architectures, experiment more often, have mechanical sympathy. So we can say that once you're going for any, designing of the AWS, first of all, you have to some experiment on the test environment, how this looks like, it is work smoothly, and what is the response time is how it is takes time, and do we have to go for the global kind of stuffs. So we can say that the AWS is basically used for hosting your website to the globalized environment, right? And suppose you are sitting in India and you have started your own business as like a Flipkart type of business, where you have to sell your products to the all over the world. So how do you deal with this? This is the only performance efficiency is important at the same point of time, right? And use a serverless architectures, because they are the number of functions and number of features are available into the AWS, so you can use it same time. Suppose Lambda, Elastic Beanstalk, Glacier. How do you deal with this? How do you use this particular services functions? Okay, so that is also important. If you're talking about the RDMS and SQS services, SNS services, this is the some of services that how do you deal with this and how can you use it? This is also a very important task. And the cost optimization pillar is also important. Cost effective resources, matching supply with demand, increase expenditure awareness, optimize over times. So it is the same time, once you're going for any features, you have to understand the costing part, right? Suppose if I'm talking about the EBS, there are the two types of things are available: the solid state drive and also the SSD. As a SSD and hard disk, where we have to store your data. So if you're going for the SSD solid state drive in the ABS, then you have to understand what is the use of it, because SSD, the IOPS, input output, the read and write of the particular SSD is also important. Okay, so once you're hosting your application, it can read write information and going to the query to the web server, and it is have to respond smoothly. So you can use the SSD drive same time in the ABS. And if your server is not so much used, then you can go for simple hard disk kind of stuff same time. So the cost optimization pillars also adopt a consumption model, measure overall efficiency, reduce spending on data center operations, analyze and attribute expenditure, use managed services. So this is also a important task of the designing part, we can say that. And this is the summary we have just going for it: security, reliability, performance efficiency, and cost optimization in operation excellence. So guys, this is the architectural part. This is the things you have to perform on the AWS once you are working on it. Or any confusion in this, please let me know so that we can go further. So any confusion in this, or any doubts you would like to ask me in this particular slide? So shall we go for the VPC?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so I think you are well aware about this VPC. I think you have done it in your previous classes as well. So I don't think so that you have to provide some more idea about the depth. So I will just let you know that what some theoretical part first of all. Then we have to move to the how do we create and what is importance, how do we starting and all sort of things. So my question to all of you that once you're going for the AWS as a cloud implement, okay, for your company or migration kind of stuff. So which things you have to go for first, because there are number of features into the AWS. So which one you have to choose first and why? Anybody have the answer for this?
We have to create virtual private cloud first, because it is the different segment. It is the isolated isolated segment where we can host our resources, our organization resources, and servers like load balancer, DNS services, IP services, all we can host over there on that VPC. So we need to create VPC first.
Yes, that's what I'm asking to you. Yes, first. So, my dear, before we create the VPC, there is a one more thing into the picture, right? This is about the documentation part. First of all, you have to, create a specific Excel sheet, or you can say documentation part. So, first of all, you have to know that which IP address segment for this VPC, which IP address segment you are using for uh, your database, which IP segment you are using for your web application kind of stuff, right? And then you have to understand the resource group, which resource group it's a part, because also it is also important which resource group you have to add your VPC, right? So the documentation part very important. First of all, your ideas, your creativity you have to show into the documentation part. Then you have to move for the VPC part. Okay, so VPC we can say that it's like a network isolation as a section in the AWS, where you can launch AWS resources in the virtual network that you define. So it's like a network interface card of your server, right? In the VPC, you have complete your control over your virtual networking environment, including selection of your own IP address ranges, creation of subnets, and configuration of route tables and network gateways. Okay, so we can say that a VPC is provision a logically isolated section of your AWS where you could launch AWS resources. Amazon VPC is the networking layer for Amazon EC2, and you can also create a hardware virtual private network connection between your corporate data center and your VPC, and leverage the AWS cloud as an extension of your corporate data center. VPC is a virtual network dedicated to your AWS account, okay, and it is logically isolated from other virtual networks in the cloud. You can launch your AWS resources such as Amazon EC2 instances into your VPC. You can configure your VPC. You can select its IP address range, create subnets, and configure route tables, network gateways, and security settings. So VPC is basically, you can say that we have to like isolated network we can create, and we can provide the IP address of the particular VPC, and then we can map to a different services functionality of the AWS, like subnets, like internet gateways, so that it will be communicate with the uh, uh, different way, like publicly or privately. Okay, the second thing, we are just talking about the subnet part. Okay, a subnet is a range of IP address in your VPC, right? You can launch AWS resources into a subnet that you select. Use a public subnet for resources that you must be connected to the internet, and a private subnet for resources that won't be connected to the internet. To protect the AWS resources in each subnet, you will use multiple layers of security, including security groups and network access control list. So first of all, I think we should learn the VPC idea about it. So we have to go for some practical stuff at the same time. So I will show you how do we create and how many types we can create the VPC. So are you able to see the screen?
Yes.
Okay. So could you please tell me that how many ways we can create a VPC? Any idea? They are the two ways we can create the VPC, right? First of all, this is our console, and we are going to the VPC. There it is. That is VPC is there. Right? This is the launch VPC wizard. This is the way we can create our VPC. So it is the automated way, we can say that. You not need to go for any selection of IP address. It is automatically provide the IP address, and then you have to just provide the name of the VPC. That's it, and it will be create. Okay. And another way of to creating the VPC is basically, I will show you. Go to VPC is there. Okay, then you have to go to here VPC, and there it is. They are the two ways we can create the VPC. Okay, so most of the time as a system architect use both ways, but it is a more reliable way, or we can just get modifications into the same time into the VPC. So you can just provide a naming convention. So naming convention should be very as per your company requirements. So you have to more intelligent when you providing the VPC tagging or name. So we can say that it's a test environment. So I have just write down the test environment over there. Okay, and you can just simply provide the any IP addresses like 10.0.0.0/16. Okay, so it is as per this. If you have checked, this is the VPC is the isolation production of AWS cloud populated by AWS objects such as Amazon EC2 instances. You can simply provide IP version 4 address range for VPC specify. So it means that you can just provide 16 bit of the IP address into the AWS, not more than that. If you're providing is more than that, if I'm talking about 15, it is providing the error message, right? So it will not accept. So it means that we can say that 65,535 nearby IP address you can use it if you are check the CIDR block. So when you're working on the VPC or networking kind of stuff, so you have well aware about the what is IP address range, what is a public IP address range, what is a private IP address range. It is a class A, class B, class C IP address range. What is routing? What is subnet? How can we use it? So it's the basic fundamental of your networking will be working here. So this is a tendencies default, and if you're going for the dedicated, it will charge you some money. And okay, so we will go for the some default kind of stuffs. So it is created at the same time. So I think there is no what expertise the kind of stuffs is in the VPC. Anyone can create in a simple way, and you have just lots of tutorials available on the YouTube, and you can just go for the Amazon documentation part, and you will find out all sort of information at the same time. So these are the some informations are there. It's a CIDR block. It's a flows is also there. It's a tag. If you would like to provide some tag, suppose you have to asset tag you're providing. So same kind of stuff is there. You can just easy to understand once you're going through mapping to the different environment. Okay. So this is the VPC we have created, and another way we can create going forward to create the VPC is also I will show you how to do it. Yeah, this is another way. So right now, I mean, this is the what kind of all of stuffs I will let you know that this is we are in Mumbai location and these are the some what regions is available there and the okay. So you can just create your VPC or whatever resources any different regions at the same times. That is why it is a globalized environment of AWS. You can just create your instances or your VPC or database in different regions as per your requirement of the company, right? That is the only one thing that is globalized environment is also there, right? And if you would like to create a support ticket, then you have to create a support center, and then you can just create a ticket. And if you want to take a documentation about this particular VPC thing, you simply go to the documentation, click there, and you will find out the documentation part. And what are the trainings provided by the AWS and other resources, you will find out just clicking there. So all sort of information is on the single window, single console. Okay, and we can say that this is your account and billing informations. I will let you know about the billing informations. How do you deal with the billing informations, and how do you schedule your billings, and if you change your credit card or debit card information, then what will you need to do it. So all sort of things we will cover later on, but we are on the topic of VPC, so we are going further. There it is. So there's a one way we have already created the VPC, and this is the second way we can create the VPC. So it is taking their own, CIDR block. Okay, so we can modify here, no problem, or we have to just provide the CIDR block as well, and simply provide the name. This is the test environment 2. And this is subnet, public subnet or private subnet. We will talk once we are going to the subnet part. Hardware tenancy is default. It means that it is not providing you dedicated, hardware instance. It is, a single rack is available on the AWS rack, and in this rack there is a instances there, and then you will, sharing the particular VPC. So there is no much cost is available. So we have created two types of the VPC and different ways that this is the two VPCs are available same time. Okay. So any confusion in this? I don't think so. So this is a default tenancy. This is a default VPC, and this is a route table. So the important part of the particular once you're creating the VPC ID, because you have to, it is used different ways. We'll talk later on, because suppose you don't know the naming conventions is not your correct, but you know that yes, this is my VPC ID is what is used for. So you can use to different environment same time. Okay.
Um,
So
Mahesh, that IP address is means provided by AWS, or we can select ourselves as well.
this is what the IP address is basically. They have the specific IP address ranges available on the AWS part. Okay, so you can choose your own IP address kind of stuff, and they will also provide you the their own IP address range. If you select your own
So
IP address, that is okay. But if you don't have the IP address range, then you can they will provide you the same IP address, no problem. And they have specific IP address ranges available. So I think I will show you in the Excel sheet. I will check it out. They have some IP address ranges for different regions available, right? Suppose you're in India, so India have a different IP address range from the AWS. So they will automatically provide you this particular IP address range.
mhm.
Okay, but most probably when you once you're working in the AWS environment, most probably whatever the IP address provided by the AWS, so we have just make changes there. Suppose this is the 10 IP address range, this is 20 IP address range, so you can assume that this is our different range of IP address for different use case, like database you can use it, and this is IP address range we can use for our EC2 instances. Okay, so you can just modify it as per your requirement analysis. Once you're creating your AWS architecture of your documentations part, so you will just take care of it.
Okay.
Okay, wait a second. So we will just easy to understand about the VPC, then going further to subnet part, right? So I will show you. So this is our VPC. We created. So subnet. So do you know a little about the subnet is all about? Why it is required a subnet in our environment? What is the importance of subnet into our traditional IT infrastructure environment? Any
To
idea on this?
yes, to know means to get the proper number of host and guest addresses in our network.
Yes,
Means how many number of users we can, how many number of IPs we can have, so that we can use that IPs for our user perspective.
yes, because we have to segment our network, dear. Segmentation of your network means that if your network have more than 70,000 number of users in a single, network, then it is a very, very difficult to, manage the same time. Okay, so you can just subnetting of your network, so that you can just providing some, different groups, small groups of your network, chunks of your network, so that easy to manage, easy to, providing any policies, and it is easy to manage. Let's just that VLAN we have created. So your segment of your network. So a subnet is a range of IP address in your VPC. You can launch AWS resources into a subnet that you select. Use a public subnet of resources that must be connected to the internet, and a private subnet for resources that won't be connected to the internet. To protect the AWS resources in each subnet, you can use multiple layers of security, including security groups and network access control list. So in the AWS, was AWS cloud computing, the subnet part is most important part, just because of we have providing any type of policies, like if you can see that what kind of subnet is a public subnet, we are going to provide the public access, and what are the subnet we can provide as the private subnet. So the VPC is mapped with the subnet, and the subnet is taking the decision whether I have to access from the outside, or whether I have to access from the inside of your premises. First thing is there. The second thing is basically, once you're creating, suppose it's a public subnet, then what kind of access control, which traffic we have to allow, which traffic have to deny at the same time. Okay, so this is also we have to provide the informations on the subnet part. A default VPC that has a default subnet in each availability zone. So I will tell you that once you create, there's a default VPC in each environment. Once you creating your console on the AWS, there's a default VPC. So if you have deleted your default VPC, then you cannot recover it. You have to contact to the AWS team, and they will doing for you. So don't delete the default subnet or default VPC in your environment, because it is used for the testing purpose most of the time. Okay, so if you have a difficult default VPC and don't specify a subnet, when you launch an instance, the instance is launched into your default VPC, right? You can launch instances into your default VPC without needing to know anything about Amazon VPC. You can create your own VPC and configure it as you need, because default VPC is provided because of your testing purpose. Okay, and but when we are working on the AWS architecture environment of your company prospects, so you have to create your own VPC, and provide your own policy on the subnet, and you have to create some security policy, security groups, as we can say that, and also you have to concern about the network access list. Okay, this is known as a non-default VPC subnet that you create in your non-default VPC, and traditional subnet that you create in your default VPC are called non-default subnets. So it is a theoretical part is little you think that not too easy, but once you're creating the subnet, it takes only one minute and very easy to in the practical environment. But the main thing is what I tell you is this: the logic and the concept of the particular thing, why we are going to do it, what is the impact on the AWS, how can we map what, and if we map, then how can we provide policies on the different features. This is the important part of the AWS or any AWS, Azure, or different cloud environment, because the implementation or the practical is very easy, but the concept behind the feature we have to understand in a depth manner. Because once you are running your applications on the and the AWS in the corporate environment, then anything goes wrong, then you have to understand the logical steps, what is the impact of the service to the different service same time. So if you have made changes into the security group, and there is impact on the public or private subnet at the same time, so you have to well aware about it, what is going on, how to do it. And if you are more intelligent or you can say more into the depth of the particular AWS concept, then you can just change the things. Because if you have guessing, that type of guessing things are not working in the any AWS environment. If you're guessing the things, then it is what creating some issues in your AWS environment. So if you are well aware, if you are sure, then you have to change into the AWS environment. If you're not sure, if you're not aware about this, first of all, proper read this information, get some ideas about it, then you can just go for the change into the AWS environment. So your default VPC includes an internet gateway, and each default subnet is a public subnet. So you can map your VPC to the internet gateway as well. Internet gateway is basically to talk to the outside, public accessible. Each instance that you launch into a default subnet as a private IP version 4 address and a public IP version 4 address. These instances can communicate with the internet through the internet gateway. I will show you once we are going to the practical. It is very very easy to understand. Okay, by default, each instance that you launch into a non-default subnet as a private IP version 4 address, but no public IP version 4 address unless you specifically assign one at launch. So by default, in this AWS or any different cloud, right now we are using the IP version 4 for the most of the time, right? But I have not used till now. We are not using the IP version 6 at this time. So these instances can communicate with each other, but can't access the internet. So this is the internet gateway we are just talking about later on. Okay. This is another matter. You can enable internet access for the instance launched into a non-default subnet by attaching internet gateway to its VPC and associating an elastic IP address with the instance. So guys, could you please let me know that what is the public IP address and the private IP address? Because if you have idea, then you are well suitable person for this AWS. And how do you secure your environment in the traditional IT infrastructure? So any idea about
Public
it?
public IP which is accessible for anywhere in this world, are directly accessible through internet. And private IP is intranet IP, which is using in our own environment, own LAN environment, basically.
Okay, good. And my last question is basically which one we have to pay for it? We have to give some money for it, or
Public
which are free of cost?
Public
Public,
public
right?
IP.
That's what I'm want to understand from your side, because this is the elastic IP address, this is the public IP address, this is paid IP address, right? So you have to aware about it. Yes, the public IP address and elastic IP address are always be, you have to pay for it. So that is why, yeah, you have to understand this is public IP address and private IP address. The private IP address, which just takes the VPC, okay, and there is no cost of it. But in the elastic IP address or public IP address, when we are using it, you have to pay for it. Same time, your billing, it will be coming. Okay, so we are just creating.
So this elastic IP address should be provided by AWS, right?
Yes, yes, yes. So I will, you know what, show you how to create all sort of stuffs. Okay, so are you guys able to see the screen?
Yes.
Okay, so this is, we created the VPC. This is the subnet part. Okay, so we have to create our own subnet. So you can just provide your test environment, and then you just which VPC you have to create. This is the test VPC you can create. Okay, and then you can just provide the CID or block with associated in the particular, and this is availability zone. The availability zone is basically, if you are in Mumbai location, we have two different locations, right? Pune location, or I think Chennai location. So both are, we can use it. In the Azure, we have three locations available. Pune location, Central India, and South India is also available. So you have to make sure that which locations of which you have to map for the same kind of stuffs. Okay, so we can provide this particular 10.0.0.0/24. Okay, so this is very simple stuff there. So you have created your own subnet, and you have mapped your subnet with a VPC, right? So first of all, we have created a VPC. Okay, and then this is the test environment VPC, and it is connected with subnet. This test environment, so the naming convention should be some test environment, and this is our subnet is also connected same time. Okay, so my another question is basically, if we have created the VPC and we have created the, VPC or a subnet, so how do we connect to the outside world, and how it is connected to the inside your internet, your private IP address range? So this is the
Netting.
routing table. Yes, perfect. So route tables are, it's like your routing. Okay, routing is basically shows that you have to your packets going to the outside world, or the packet which is comes in working on your inside environment, right? So you have to create some kind of policies there. Suppose we have create our own route. This is our only test environment, and then we can select our test, right? Okay, so this is our test environment, and all the subnet is also added into this. Okay, and then in the VPC is also added. So whatever the routes going on with this particular route,
No, it
so
is
we can
showing
simply,
zero subnet. It is showing zero subnet.
yes, 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 yes. We will associate it, no problem. Wait a second. Okay, so we have created the routing table. Okay, and it is also already mapped with the VPC, and then we can make some modifications over there. Is this packet going to outside, or whether packet is inside your private environment? Okay, so this is the route, and this is a default route. Okay, so it is our route, and this is your inside. So you can, if this interface, if this subnet is basically is going to talk to the outside of the world, we can simply add another. Not any internet gateway. Okay, sorry. This one. So you can map the particular test environment here. Okay, so we have successfully added one subnet to the particular. So what we did actually, we have created the VPC, then we have created subnet, and then we have created routing tables. Okay, and it is our inside of the network. It is working there. And if you want to create a tag, you can just provide the tag information, subnet informations, and route informations. Right? We have not created the internet gateway. If you created the internet gateway, then we can have to map it over here. Internet gateway is basically used for to communicate with your subnet to the outside of the world, yeah, like public. So it is very important to very easy to create. This is our test environment. So this is your internet gateway we have created, and we have to map this particular. This is our test, and this is a DA test format. We have to attach our one of the subnet into this. So wait a second, we have to select here, and then have to go here and attach the particular VPC. So which VPC we have to add? This is our test environment VPC. Okay. So this is the thing. We have create VPC, subnet, routing table, internet gateway, and then we have to map some routes into this. So test is there, and we have to try to edit point of time. We add another rule, and then if we would like to talk to the outside of the world, then we have to provide some 0.0.0.0. That's 0. Target test one. This is our interface test one.
So it's kind of default route.
Yes, it's default route. Yes, so it is communicates to the into the outside of the world without any problem. So we have created some first of all create the test environment, test VPCs over there, easy to understand. Then we have mapped this particular VPC to the subnet. We have created a subnet and added the particular. This is a test subnet is also there. Then we create a internet gateway to talk to the outside of the world. This is our test, and this is also attached our particular VPC into this particular. And then we have going to routing table and made some modifications here in the routing because it is communicate outside of the world, and this is your wildcard masking. So any traffic coming inside, outside, inbound traffic, outbound traffic, it is coming over there. Okay, and we already mapped the particular subnet to the particular routing table, so it is understand only this particular subnet. Okay, and you can provide a tag name. It's our you can set test environment. So any name or any specific things you want to provide, you can just provide it here. So this is our little idea about this particular 4 things we have cleared today, and rest of the things we will doing tomorrow. Egress, DSCP, Elastic IP, endpoint, net gateways, pairing connections. Okay, so it is very easy, very first of all, you have some basic fundamental idea about it, what we are going to do it, how we are going to do it, what needs to be changes over there. And I think you should a little bit of idea about all sort of things, because it is required some VPN. When you're going with the VPN connections, you have to understand what is site to site VPN, what site to remote VPN, how the VPN will be working, what is remote gateways, IKey, pre-shared key. Okay, the number of things are available into into the VPN. It is very easy to very easy to create into the AWS environment. But the basic fundamentals, once any issues happen into the AWS environment, then you have to understand all the concept will be working, because sometimes you have to create your VPN into your firewall inside of your network. Okay, so you have to understand the IKE, pre-shared key, phase 1, phase 2, what is in the phase 1, what things will be include, what mapping, local gateway, netting, all sort of things. Because if your basic fundamentals very clear on the networking part, you are easy to understand all sort of points in the later. Okay, so we are just wrap up of this particular session today, and then we will, fully covered tomorrow all the VPC part. Then we will go for the storage part, security part, and some different tools and techniques we are using it, the cost optimization solutions and cost effective solutions. We can go for it, and doing lots of good architecture kind of stuff. Then we will create some platformations. Then we have to just use some templates. How can we create our own architecture of your AWS through the platformation? So we will talk later on. We have different things available.
Mahesh, I
Okay.
have just one question.
Yes, certainly.
Costa, please proceed.
Yeah. I have just one question. Like we have created the subnet here, right? So we can use this subnet to our internal purposes. Like we can means use these IP addresses to our server, to our DHCP pool, and to our user, right? We can use these IP addresses to our internal purpose. Is it right?
No, not for the internal organization purpose, because it's a cloud environment, right? In the
So
cloud environment, you have to map all sort of things to your EC2 instances or your database instances, whatever the instances you are creating into the AWS environment. Okay, you have to map. You have to just add all sort of things. Suppose I am going to create a EC2 instances, right? And then you have to map the particular VPC to the in the EC2, right?
so what is the purpose of this subnet?
The purpose of the subnet basically is just forwarding the packet to outside or inside. Depend on the depend on the particular policy we have created. If we are not creating the internet gateways, right? The routing table. If we are not creating this particular internet gateway, it is not mapped with the internet gateway. So it is not sending the traffic to the outside of the world, not public, right? And if we in the routing table, if we have not defined the particular 0.0.0 slash the byte masking. Okay, so it will always remain in the private network of your cloud.
So
And if
it's a
we map
huge block. It's a huge block like /16.
class 16, it means that it's a class B, and we can create
Yeah,
65,000 numbers of hosts into this. And
but
you can
we are
also
not
you can
using it.
you can also you can also go into the Google, and you can just going for the CIDR blocking kind of stuff. I will
Yeah,
share you.
I got that. I know that, but my concern is that we are using that /16 means AWS has provided /16 subnet, so we are not
Yes.
basically using it, right? We are not basically using it. It's just
No,
means
I just
private
cost of
public
hosting.
communication.
This is a huge block, and in AWS environment, I should use this. I should use IP from this block, and which I will provide to in my different server, load balancer, router, switch. So, is it require that such kind of huge block to provide IP with? I believe there is 100 plus device in my organization, or maybe 1,000. So
Mhm.
this is the huge block, 65,000 having IP. So this
Mhm.
block is necessary for my environment, my AWS environment. Cost of, am I right?
Yeah. It's the question, right?
Yes, you can use the AWS environment provide you the specific IP address range, right? So there is no concern. They don't want to know that, and that what type of device you have, number 200 to 300 devices you have available. They will specifically provide you the IP address range, and you can just map this particular IP address range to your uh, instances, and it will gonna work for you.
Cost of, they are
Yes,
thinking
sir.
your company is globally, and there you have a branch in all over the world. Might be you need
Yeah.
20,000 device.
You're right.
Yes, because the Netflix and what the AWS basically we are using for the all the MNCs part. You know what? There's a very big data centers. There is very big database. Okay, and as we're talking about the Azure part, right? The Azure is used for the mid-level companies, mid-sized companies, but also it is using in the MNCs. So that is why the Amazon would like to go for the big things always.
Yes. So from that subnet, we can use that IP addresses as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I have a different question actually regarding certifications. So in certification exam, lab environment is covered, or there is only questions answer basis?
Question and answer basis only.
Okay, okay.
But
So there
once you are working on the all sort of stuffs, right? VPC, networking. So I will in the next slide I will let you know what type of courses the questions will be coming.
okay, there is
I will
DAMS is available or not?
some you know what the designing kind of questions is coming into the particular examinations. So if you are well aware, because if you have created the lab environment, then you can easily understand, yeah, this is the kind of stuff is available.
Okay. Any other certification like CCNA, CCNP, there is DAMS is also available for the exam. So in AWS, is DAMS is also available or not?
Dumps, I'm not sure about it, because we have to just study and we have to provide the examination. But I have the dumps available, no problem. I will let you know. I will share it. I will, once we are going
Okay.
for the further classes. Once we have done those sort of
Okay.
things, then I share some dumps as well, so you can just take a look.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, thanks very much.
So thank you all guys for this particular session, and I think so we will do some more advanced features we will cover in tomorrow. Okay, so be on time, and thank you for your joining today. Thank you.
Thank you very much.